Some weeks and some losses take a little bit more time to get over than others. They hit a little different, and this matchup against Skip is one of those weeks. I have spent far too long staring at this matchup, at this hodgepodge, patched together lineup that Skip has put out. Didn't need a running back. Starting Josh Reynolds and Kadarius Toney. Josh Reynolds, who outscored every single player on my team except one. Josh Reynolds, who outscored CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk combined. Kadarius Toney in his lineup, the Skip proclaimed Michael Barcliffe of the NFL, and he didn't even need a running back to beat me. I gave this man a win with this lineup. Okay. Okay. I'm going to move on. I'm going to keep going with the Commissioner's Corner. Thank you for letting me get through that. Next up, we have Big Lou versus Zach. I poked Zach a little bit about this double tight end strategy, but all in all, it turned out to not be too bad. 30 points between the two. Not too shabby from two tight ends. Joe Burrow had a good week, and Zach's team had a fairly solid week overall. I do find it interesting that after this solid week, he then went and traded 3 of his 4 top scoring players. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, but we'll see how it pans out. On the flip side, we have Big Lou scoring 114, 4-1. Seems like things are going well for him. The 114 might have been propped up a little bit from a 45-point performance from Jamar Chase. And if you throw Jared Goff in there, those two players combined almost scored 2/3 of his entire score. So this 4-1, we'll take a look at that. Is sensing a little bit of potentially fraudulent behavior here. In the third matchup, we have the Priors against Sherratt Jr. And Jeff got off to a hot start on Thursday night with Justin Fields scoring 33 points, but we had a Monday night rundown by the Priors as Josh Jacobs got a last-minute touchdown to put them over the edge. Also of note, Daniel Carlson missed 2 50-plus yard field goals. That's a 12-point swing. Would have been the difference in the match. And although he gets a close loss here, more importantly, Jeff loses Justin Jefferson for 4 weeks as he's headed to the IR. Khalil Herbert also injured. And this bench, other than this irrelevant second quarterback, not deep. He might have to be running that 2 tight end strategy that Zach invented. This could be a 2-3 start by Jeff, headed in the downward direction. Next up, we have B Case versus Ryan. Ryan gets the win here. Another Monday night rundown as Jacoby Myers finished this one off with 17 points on Monday. Also, big performance on Sunday night to aid in the rundown as George Kittle had 3 catches, 67 yards, 3 touchdowns. Pretty good efficiency there. Wouldn't have minded some of that going to Ayuk to help me win, though. On Ryan's side, good week. Mostly on the back of Travis Etienne scoring 34 points. Just came up short as Lamar Jackson kind of forgot how to play football there at the end, which also led to the Steelers' defense scoring 18 points in my loss. Not to make it all about me. Another thing of note here for Ryan, George Pickens on the bench here with over 23 points. If he had started him over Terry McLaurin, that difference would have given Ryan the win here. This is 1-4. Not a terrible team, but he's got a lot of ground to cover. And now we have the stomp of the week, the low score of the week, the low score of the season to date, and potentially a top 10 low score of all time in fantasy football, in Yorktown Bros fantasy football history, as Chase scores 51 points this week. This is previously undefeated Chase, finally putting his stamp on this team that Brian O'Shea gave him. Benched his RB1 defense, the Cowboys, but they ended up getting negative points anyway. Benched Dallas Goedert, started Hunter Henry, who had 0 points. Again, these decisions didn't really make any difference as he lost by over 80 points. And Paul's team, who scored 133, had a very solid week. Josh Allen, big week. Devin Achane, big week. But he's also headed to the IR. Paul will once again be scrambling for running backs. Tyreek Hill, big week. Like I said, good week all around, 133 points. That's with 32 points on the bench from Zach Moss as he got scared of Jonathan Taylor coming back and did a last-minute swap to Najee Harris. Not so much this season, as he ended up with 4 points and he had 32. This could have been a 160 bomb, which would have given Paul over a 100-point victory against Chase. Would have also given him the edge over Tim, who instead got the high score of the week. I'm not sure I've ever said that before, but yes, Tim, high score of the week, 159 points. This was one of those matchups where pretty much from Thursday night, as he had DJ Moore and Logan Thomas combined for over 60 points, it was pretty much over after that. The margin of victory never wavered from that initial 60-point deficit that Brittany had. She had a pretty good week, but I mean, she's starting Latavius Murray. Are you really expecting to win games if you're starting Latavius Murray? Now, she did just get cut back. She's got tight end one, Sam Laporta, who almost had an equally efficient day as Travis Kelce. And she's got Kenneth Walker coming back off bye. So things could be shaping up for Brittany, but she is 0-5. And got a lot of ground to make up here. And we'll take a look at that ground in the standings. Paul slides into first place with the most points scored. And Brittany down here with the most points against. She has 610 points against so far this season. Jeff's dad, Big Lou, has 446 points against. That's over 160 point differential between them in 5 weeks. That's over 30 points a week that Brittany is getting more scored on than Jeff's dad. That's why this 4-1 record out of here by Big Lou, is it legitimate? I don't know, because his points for don't even put him in the top half of the league. Now, Chase was the big bidder this week with the $40 on Amari over Paul, who was scrambling for running backs, as I said. Other than that, not much action here. Some big trades popping off. We are starting to see some trades come through as Zach, like I said, traded 3 of his top 4 scoring players. But other than that, we'll see how the next week pans out, and I'll catch you on the next Commissioner's Corner.